Alright, so in today's presentation we will talk about the introduction to textile waste, the implications of textile waste on the environment, and the design response to the situation. Next we will talk about silk waste and the design response to combating it. After that we will talk about the design response to denim waste, linen waste, chiffon waste, cotton waste, nylon waste, and wool waste. Next slide please. Alright, first and foremost let's talk about the introduction to textile waste. So what is the contextual problem? Textiles are produced from both natural and unnatural sources in large scale. This means textiles come in both natural and unnatural materials. So for example, we have cotton, which is a natural material, and nylon, which is an unnatural material that is made from polymers. The industry is constantly increasing in size. This is actually due to demand, where every year the population of humans are increasing a lot. So the need for textiles, which is clothing brands, is at an all-time high. If you don't know, textile industry is actually the second most polluting industry in the world. So why is this a fact? It's because of the fast fashion movement. Now what is fast fashion? Fast fashion is the movement of producing and selling of textile based products, which is clothing and other things, in a fast and cheap manner, so that people will constantly keep on buying it. The pollution of textiles is actually happening before its production, during its production, and after its production. This is due to many things that are related to the production process. This also includes water and air pollution during the production, and the textile waste after the production. Next slide please. So what can designers do? First and foremost, designers should consider a circularly designed circular economy. So this can be explained through slow fashion. As I explained earlier, fast fashion is producing clothing really fast and cheap, so that it will go to the customers fast. However, if we promote a slow fashion based production system for textiles, it will be much easier to control and comply to the amount of waste we already have at present. Also, designers could promote textiles that require recycling. However, this process is not 100% environmentally friendly, as most recycling processes for textiles still require a lot of usage of water, and this produces also waste water in the production process. However, a better alternative can be seen in upcycling. The upcycling is actually less effective and less efficient. However, it is the more environmentally friendly option, because we are not devaluing the materials properties, but it is also increasing its properties and using the properties that it already has. For example, denim is a strong and resilient material, but after it has been recycled and turned into fibers again, it is being woven into lesser products, and the value will be decreased. But if we upcycle denim, we can still use the strong and resilient properties of said material. Next slide please. So let's move on to silk waste and the design response to combating it. So the contextual problem is, silk is one of the most expensive and high quality textiles in the market, as the production is difficult and the yield is actually very low. As you can see on the slide here, we have the perpetrator of the silk, which is the Bombyx mori larvae. So how do we get silk? Is we get the material from the pupa of this particular worm. So you can imagine how meticulous and time consuming it will take to get each thread from each pupa. So silk is considered expensive. However, it is thrown out once it loses its luster. This is because the target audience for silk is usually people who are very rich or very well off. So when their silk products lose its luster, basically what I mean is loses its smoothness, you lose its texture, these people usually just throw them out and buy a new one. I can explain here. Silk owners often prefer newer silk products due to the new product bias. Next slide please. So what can designers do? Believe it or not, silk is actually biodegradable and recyclable. So designers can actually design a system to retrieve and recycle silk textiles into new products. We can already see this in the market actually, and a circular economy system is actually used by Vogue to produce new silk products from old silk products. So their customers can hand in their old silk products to exchange for newer silk products that is being produced by the exchange process. So silk is a luxury material that is also taken for granted most of the time. Next slide please. So let's move on to linen waste. The contextual problem is linen is durable and natural fiber derived from the flax plant. You can see at the bottom there. It is a popular choice for bedding sheets but thrown out once dirty. This is because linen usually comes in very dull or very mono colors, which is white, grey and sometimes black, but this is usually dyed. Linen also loses its biodegradable properties once it is chemically treated. So this is the problem here. We cannot actually recycle it because once it is chemically treated, it cannot be recycled. So what can designers do? We can design cheap clothing based on recycled linen. So how we are going to recycle linen is to change the production process so that they are not chemically treated. Yes, this reduces its lifespan for its intended use, but we can also increase its lifespan again due to the recycling process. We can also upcycle linen into different accessories. As you can see on the slide here, we have a linen based mask made from linen products. Next slide please. So now we are moving to cotton waste. The contextual problem is cotton is a natural fiber that is breathable, absorbent, strong and recyclable. The production process produces a lot of wastewater before and after. A large part of cotton waste is produced due to fast fashion. So most of the time fast fashion utilizes cotton because it is easy to acquire, it is cheap to produce, and most people prefer cotton in their clothing anyway. Next slide please. So what can designers do? Fortunately, cotton is recyclable. The fabric can be turned into fiber, and designers can also design a cotton fabric retrieval system for recycling. This is also very evident in nowadays, and most companies are actually doing this. Also, if we recycle cotton, we can actually reduce the wastewater that is produced in the system itself, because we are actually reducing the amount of water that is needed to grow these plants. Next, we can design cotton clothing with the intention to upcycle. This can be done with easy patterning, so everyone can do it at home themselves. We can also introduce slow fashion. Like I explained earlier, fast fashion usually utilizes cotton clothing, so let's introduce slow fashion into the cotton clothing system. Next slide please. Alright, let's move on to design response to wool waste. The contextual problem is wool is a natural animal product with excellent properties. They are heat resistant, flame retardant, and durable and water absorbent. These are really good properties for a clothing. Wool waste is produced during yarn or woolen fabric production. The fibers pollute the environment during and after production. Water pollution mainly. This means that when we are washing the wool, it usually creates these small fibers that cannot be seen, and they escape through our irrigation system into the oceans, and usually it is biodegradable, but it is still polluting our waters. Next slide please. So what can designers do? Fortunately, again, wool can be recycled. So designers can design products utilizing the open loop or closed loop system to recycle wool. So what does this mean? Open loop recycling means that we can design products to be produced and entered into the system, into different systems. So the products is being created and entered into different system altogether. A closed loop system is basically the wool products are being created and changed into the same product again and again through the recycling process. Next slide please. So let's move on to chiffon waste. The contextual problem. Most chiffon nowadays are consisted primarily of polyester. They are hard to recycle without losing material quality. They also produce microplastics when washed. This causes water pollution. So chiffon in the olden days are produced 100% using natural fibers. However, nowadays for cheap production and fast production, most chiffon is using polyesters to produce. So what can designers do? Designers should increase the materialized film and value. So how do they do this? Is by reverting back to the olden days by incorporating the natural fibers into the chiffon itself. So again, upcycling is one of the better options here, where the material can also help to reduce microplastics pollution before and after production. So what do I mean by this? The reason why chiffon produces microplastics is because of us washing it at home using our washing machines. They produce these microplastics that we can't see. So if we convert them into products that do not require washing or do not require often washing, we can reduce this effect on the environment. Next slide, please. Right, let's move on to denim waste. I'm sure all of you are very familiar with this material. So the contextual problem is the majority of denim loses its quality after a while. Usually, if you notice, when we have black jeans, which is also made from denim material, they usually lose their luster and color after a while, after different times of washing. This is not actually due to the dye running out. It's actually the material itself losing its fibers and becoming more prone to showing more of the undyed surface itself. So when these jeans lose their color and lose their quality, they feel less comfortable to wear. Usually people just throw them out. So what can designers do? Denim is made of a mixture of cotton. They are made by different mixtures of cotton and other polymers. Usually it is difficult to recycle because due to the mixture, it is hard to differentiate between each individual fiber. So what we can do is, denim is actually very great for repurposing, and designers can use this attribute to design for transforming. Basically, we can create products, denim products, with the intention of upcycling and transforming in itself. We can create different patterns that we can market to our customers so that they can actually see a different value for that. Next slide, please. So finally, let's look at nylon waste. Nylon waste is actually 100% synthetic. It also produces waste during manufacturing. This is air pollution. And actually, nylon cannot be recycled normally. So what can designers do? We can design products that utilize nylon fibers after recycling. Also, designers can design products created from nylon fabrics in other applications other than fabrics. As you can see on the slide here, a nylon slipper. Next slide, please. Next slide. So that is all from me. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Pravin. Next, the third presenter, Jovik Hamanath, who will talk about design response to metal waste.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jovik Hamanath. I'm from Group 3, presenting about design waste on metal. Design response on metal waste. Next slide. Okay, what I'll be talking about today. First of all, what is metal waste? Well, we have our own ideas. After this, I hope we have a clearer vision about actually what is a metal waste, not the stuff we're using at our home. That's not only the source of metal waste, okay? I just do say it out loud. Then, once recycling, we have our challenges. I'll be talking about that too. And advantages. Well, we live happily without metal, I say, based on our slides. Then, about 8 metals that our group choose to talk about how it responds to design circularity. Okay, next. So what is metal waste? So the large compartment of metal waste comes from manufacturing and processing. So what I say by manufacturing processing is by the industrial side, where it goes and comes with our daily life. You can see by your side, you can see the stand. So everything that being produced creates a waste. Every single thing creates a waste. And metal is a very large compartment because per annum it more than 100 of tons metal scrap being released to the world. Well, that's a huge numbers to take on. And what are the effects? We can't live peacefully. Okay, sorry. So the effects are depletion of natural resources. We are low grading on that already. Next are global warming. It's getting hot outside, really hot. Next, we have soil and water pollution, where we can't see that clearly right now because we are living in a century. It goes and comes like easy thing. But what about the future? It really affects the soil and water in a very coming days. Okay, next slide. Okay, these are the three main challenges everyone facing of recycling metal. First is energy and time consumption. When we're recycling metal, the amount of energy we create is almost half of the volcanic measure. So just imagine how much power we are releasing just to recycle metal. That's how much toxicity and emissions we are creating by recycling metal. And also the time consumption. Metal can't be recycled very easily, people, because each metal has its own characteristics to tackle with. I'll go on with later the all type of metals. Second is recycled products may lose its value or per se quality. We know aluminium, we know brass. Each of it have its own characteristics to tackle with everyday life. We can't use it on everything. Brass, we use it on mostly high machinery. Aluminium, we actually don't use that again and again. Why? We're afraid of getting injured sometimes. And copper, my god, the toxic, we can't use it. But recycling brings a measure on that. Okay. The last one is labor intensive. Okay, why I put labor intensive here? Because certain country don't have machinery to tackle recycling. So we need more people to recycle metals. Like I said earlier, tons of metric metals are being consumed and being recycled every day actually. So that's the challenges. Next. Okay, like I said, the advantages. We get to live peacefully. Why I say that? One is the use of resources being reduced. We need resources to our green culture in future. So we get to reduce that to the burning of our natural resources. And we save energy, a lot of energy. Then mitigate many sorts of pollution. Like I said earlier, soil and water pollution, yes, we take it as a big thing. But we have more pollution to be tackled on. Like, how to say, air pollution. Even sound pollution is a big thing when we are producing metal. Then we slow down global warming and landfill growth. Global warming is an undertaking issue we're going right now. It's not easy, but metal is one of the prospects can be used to low down the global warming. And of course, protect the habitats. We've seen this in everyday news. A lot of habitat is going lost. We are losing a lot of animals, a lot of plants, a lot of insects. Why? Because we are not recycling enough. Okay. All of us, Okay, next slide. Okay, the first one is silver waste, how it responds to circularity. Okay, first, silver doesn't come in just the stores, We don't buy silver and recycle it because we value that too much. So where does the silver waste come from? Well, our electronics. Well, if you open our phone now, we can't see that, but our CPU, ECU, everything has silver actually. So the name of it is, we have the printed circular boards. Yeah, that's what we use in every day computers, our tabs, our phones. Like my friend over there, Fami, he's using his camera. There's even silver in that. But recycling it doesn't actually makes it worse. Silver actually is a very good e-waste to our society because it doesn't lose its quality that much. That's why you can see nowadays Huawei and all Samsung phones, they're actually promoting this recycled silver to use on their phones because they tackle the issue for the quality. That's on silver. Next. Okay, copper. Okay, this one is tricky a little bit. Okay, copper waste comes in two. One is industrial, another one is scrap. Okay, we can say industrial waste and scrap is no, it's the same thing, but actually it's not. Industrial waste is more towards smelting and refining byproduct. The waste that comes after we creating the silver, copper itself. And scrap is actually cables. You can see in our floors, you can see in our homes. Actually, that's the copper waste actually. That's how you throw away. We throw away once we don't use the wires and cables in our home, right? Good. That's the waste. That's actually the copper waste. We are doing that actually every day. But in a larger scale, where does it go? The industrial part, because industrial appliance use more copper than our entire life maybe. So copper waste, what's the challenges? So since it has the unique value of production, people get to be fraud. Not often, but the level we be lied is more than what it's supposed to be, because the value is more than we can be presumed in future. Okay, thank you. Next slide. Okay, so aluminium. This one is actually a very tricky thing because you can't recycle aluminium. Okay, so why does it goes that way? Because it creates toxic. How? Once we recycle, we create a byproduct or collision named as dross. Yeah, I put over there. You can read that. DROSS. So what does it do? It's very toxic. We can't keep it in our home. It affects our oxygen level or our intake of air. We can't keep it at car. It might go blast on. So what we do with that? We bury it. That's where it goes. But how to reduce the aluminium emissions more? Well, we reuse. Okay, get my word? Reusing is actually an effective way to be interconnected with recycling. Why? Aluminium can be used as a food container after actually we have our cans, everything. Most of our cans are we buying in supermarkets, convenience store, are actually made from almost 80 to 90% of aluminium. So we are making it as a storage basis. That actually helps a lot of things actually. Okay, next. Next one is brass. So brass is a metal alloy with copper and zinc. So brass is I like to call it the ultimate metal because it never loses its value. Its quality never goes down. No matter how many times you recycle it, maybe the corrosion creates a lower quality copper in the brass itself, but the value of distinction, it's more than its reduction. So that's the best part of brass. So brass scrap, there's almost 5 of it. One is red brass, second is hard brass, third is yellow brass, fourth is brass shell cases scrap, and fifth is brass turning. So what are the circular economy on brass recycling? One, like I said previously, it helps the speed of machine and tools industrial area where we keep our this ultimate metal in our industry to run and to travel our data or our projects way more faster than the actual brass itself. That's how it works. That's how brass waste works. Okay, next. Bronze. Okay, bronze is an worth of scrapping. Okay, if you get to visit a scrapyard, once they get hold of a bronze metal, well, that's a loot. That's a happy day for the scrapyard, because the value of bronze never changes, because it can be reused and recycled no matter in any places. Okay, because bronze is less toxic than previous metals, as said, and one, it's color itself. We don't really focus on color this and then, but to attract people on our home, we have a brown. It's actually a very good thing, and effective way to use bronze waste. We have companies like Yamaha, Honda. They're actually buying back all their what they call it, the rims. The rims of motorcycles, even the latest Honda Civic. They implemented on metal waste more than it should be. Yeah, the bias of new product is very good, but to think about the metal of bronze to be used from the waste is actually a very noble thing, because bronze is one of the high produced components of cars, motorbikes, and all our daily use cycles and all the stuff. Okay, next. Design response to tin waste. Okay, this is Malaysia's favorite metal, I guess. Okay, first of all, I would like to make a statement of history over here, if I may, where Malaysia is the country, well, not Malaysia per se, Malaya. We were doing tin mining since the 1820s, where there were two ways. One was lampan mining and dulang mining. So, well, I wasn't there to be there to see. Well, I guess the method is well known till the power of mining is largely found in this world. So Malaysia is still one of the top 10 countries gathering with the tin waste. So that's the info. Okay. So recycling tin conserves energy and serves landfill space. This is because tin is underrated metal. We don't see that as an metal that we value actually. So what are the products that actually we're using? The teeth fillings, when we are okay, get it. So, and bearings, nowadays the bearings are made of tin waste. Well, of course it infused with different metal, and tin actually goes with new and old scrap, and it goes back with all the appliance, goes back to scrap. And tin was the main infuser for IR 4.0 and green evolution. Next slide. And next is cast iron. Cast iron contains 2 to 4% carbon and 1 to 3% of silicon. So this creates an economical and solution where we use cast iron in different methods of our appliance and daily use of motorists, such as bicycles. We use our motorbikes. Actually, cast iron is a very good component. The waste is very good component to use in our transportation. Okay, next. Steel waste. Steel waste is the biggest. I know this, the biggest waste in our world. These are the waste that we are actually reducing and reusing in a large scale. In every day, we have more than tons in the world that being utilized every day. And the steel that being brought to waste to be recycled are carbon steels, alloy steels, and stainless steels. So these are steels that reduce the complexity of recyclability itself. Okay, next. Okay, I like to proceed this. Metal recycling allows us to make long-term use of metals because it can be recycled indefinitely without losing its properties. As a result, recycling metal reduces the environmental impacts of metal mining and production. It conserves energy and natural resources, reducing pollution while also adding value to our life. Like I said, we live happily for the future. Okay, next. So thank you for your attention. I would like to thank my group members, Mr. Chua Wei Liang, Ms. Raja Zaida, Ms. Saraswati, Mr. Muhammad Azri, myself Jovic, and Ms. Sitino Shafira, Ms. Leo Robing, and Mr. Arif Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jovic. That was a very insightful presentation. Now, the next presenter is Nur Shamira Izzati, who will elaborate on design response to agriculture waste.
Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. My name is Mira and I will be the group representative for group 4 to present about design response to agriculture waste. Next slide. So in this slide we're going to talk about the introduction of agriculture waste in general, and then we're going to talk about varieties of agriculture waste there is, and lastly we're going to talk about the conclusion of it. Next slide. Okay, so what is agriculture waste? So agriculture waste is defined as the unwanted waste produced as a result of agriculture activities, agriculture harvesting. So globally, there are about 998 million tons of agriculture waste that has been produced globally. However, in Malaysia itself, there's about 1.2 million tons of agriculture waste. Imagine in 5 years, there will be 6 million tons of agriculture waste. So how can design respond to this waste? So first, we're going to talk about the pineapple leaf waste. So states like Selangor, Kedah, Pahang, and Sarawak are rapidly growing in the pineapple plantation activities industries. So due to this rapid growth in the pineapple waste production, there's also an increasing amount of waste that will be generated. So how can we combat this problem? So pineapple waste such as the leaf, the crowns, and also the stems are considered as the pineapple waste. So there are two things that can be done for the pineapple waste. First, there's a machine in Malaysia that can extract the fibers from the waste, from the leaf, from the stem, from the crowns. For example, there's one in the engineering faculty itself. So the machine can extract fibers and create products out of it. Other than that, if the waste is too much, they will usually burn and decompose the waste and create fertilizers out of it. But because of the burning activities, it can create environmental harm such as air pollutions. So the best options here is extracting the fibers and create products out of it. So for examples, we have there's a picture of a drone. The body of the drone is actually made out of pineapple fibers that has been compressed to form the body of the drone. So the material of the body of the drone is actually quite hard and it is durable. So, and the next one, the fibers can also be used to create clothing items and daily essentials such as bags, shoes, pencil case, and many more. On top of that, one of the largest industries, which is food businesses, can also use this waste to create food packaging out of it. So next, we're going to talk about banana waste. So, as for banana waste, there's 4 parts in banana tree, which is the banana itself, the banana pseudostem, the banana leaf, and the banana shred. So what we're going to talk about here is the banana pseudostem. So the pseudostem is the larger part of the banana tree. Basically, it's almost like the trunk of the banana tree. So usually the banana pseudostem will be used to turn into a biomass. So 60% of the biomass is produced from the waste after it's been harvested. So basically, if usually the pseudostem, if we cannot harvest another cycle of banana plantation, usually it will be thrown out. Either first, like I said, first here is either they burn them or they throw it into the river. However, if the pseudostem can be used for another cycle, so it can be utilized to create another cycle of banana plantation. But like I said, if it's not it can't be used for another cycle, it will be thrown out or burned. So the product from the banana waste are such as clothing, paper, and even baskets. Next slide. So next we're going to talk about the sugarcane bagasse. So sugarcane, known as Saccharum officinarum, is cultivated in considerable quantities in tropical countries, for example Malaysia. So the waste most likely came from sugar and alcohol industry. So imagine the amount of sugar we consume daily. Hence, imagine the amount of sugarcane waste that has been generated. So sugarcane waste, known as bagasse, is a fibrous substance with cellulose, which is a non-soluble element of a plant as its primary element. So the sugarcane can be divided into two parts, the pith and the rinds. So both parts of the waste can be utilized to create products out of it. So the process of sugarcane to bagasse is basically sugarcane going through a sugarcane mill to extract the liquids out of it, and they dry them up and then they crush them even more to create small particles out of it. So it is easier to create products from it. So what are the products of sugarcane bagasse? So the first example is food packaging. And then the second one is animal food stock. So it can be compressed into small pellets to feed the animals. Other than that, it can be a natural fuel, which is a biofuel. And then lastly, based on my research, there's a recent studies about making sugarcane bagasse into an industrial material, such as bricks. You can substitute clay bricks and use sugarcane bagasse. So, for example, people in the rural areas, they can benefit from this waste, like I said, from industrial material. So how they can benefit this is that the sugarcane bagasse can be formed into a brick-shaped light. Hence, it can use for housing purposes. It can create shelter for them. So this community can benefit from it. The poverty. It is more cost-effective and it has better insulation for them. Other than that, generally businesses can utilize this as biodegradable food packaging options. Not only food services, but also the product industries. So by creating products such as hangers, shoe boxes, and even many more. So product designers can utilize these ways, not only the food services, food businesses. Instead of having to use those paper boxes, they can use sugarcane bagasse. Okay, next slide is all palm waste. So all palm waste include all palm waste items such as all palm trunks, all palm fronds, the empty fruit bunches, the palm shells, and the palm oil mill effluent. However, what we're going to talk about here is the all palm trunks, because it has the most benefit and it can create variety of industrial products. So product from oil palm waste, we can create particle boards, laminated board, plywood, and fiber wood. It can substitute the natural woods that we are currently using. Hence, it can reduce the amount of deforestation that is happening in this world. So, next slide. Oh wait, why oil palm waste is beneficial? Because due to the high stabilization dimensional, high durability, high hardness, and it is also water resistance. Hence, for furniture making products, it can be very beneficial. Next slide. Next is paddy waste. So paddy waste, there's two forms of paddy waste. First, there's the rice husk, and the second one is the rice straw. So the rice husk is a hard protecting layers of the grain of rice after it harvests. So basically, we collect the rice, but there's a outer layer of the rice that is being thrown out, which is the rice husk. Next is a rice straw. So rice straw is produced as a byproduct of the rice production at harvest. So the ratio of straw to paddy ranges 0.7 to 1.4 meters depending on the variety and the growth. So how can we, why is this paddy waste affecting the environment? How does it affect the environment? Well, usually farmers will burn this waste. So hence it can create harm to the environment, such as air pollutions. And especially because of the paddy field, usually is in a large quantity, large areas. Hence the large quantities of rice husks and rice straws that will be burned. So how can we utilize this waste is, from example, the rice straw, we can create a natural fuel out of it. So like a natural fuel, biofuel. However, for the rice husk, in recent years, a number of rice husk derived product has been developed, including polymeric composite resins and polymeric lumber as a substitute for natural woods, which are both produced by combining ground rice husk and polymer resins. Hence, it is a great industrial material, and it has a great strength and durability. Next slide. Next is coconut waste. So as we all know, coconut waste, there's three parts from coconut tree, which are the coconut itself, the coconut leaf, and also the coconut trunks. So usually in agriculture, if it's a waste, they will either burn them or throw them into the river. So how can we utilize this coconut waste? So the first one is the coconut coil or the coconut husk itself, the hairs on the coconut can be used to hold up water in plantation. So instead of, especially those within the season of very hot season, not much rain happening, the coconut coil can hold up water to sustain the amount of water in the plant. Other than that, coconut leaves can also used to make roofs for huts. So especially like those in the poverty area, they can use it to create shelters as a roofing material. Next slide. So next is a coffee waste. So coffee, how is the production? How does coffee being processed and produced? So the first we harvest coffee, and then the next there's a typo, instead of harvesting, it's actually hurling. We hurl them and then we roast them. After we roast, we brew them. So coffee waste, there's two types of coffee waste, which is the coffee husk, which is a product from the hurling process, and then there's also coffee grounds. So coffee husk is a part of a coffee bean that is a sheer or like a thin outer layer of the coffee bean, and the coffee ground is actually from after we brew the coffee. So there's this waste that's being produced. So how does coffee waste affect the environment? So first, the waste usually will be thrown out into the landfill, and because of that, coffee bean or the coffee husk itself has this acidic element in it that can cause the fertility of the soil if it was being thrown out into the landfill. On top of that, greenhouse gases, specifically methane, especially when the husk, like I said, in agriculture, if they don't throw it into the river, they will burn them. So, from coffee husk or coffee waste, it can create greenhouse gases, methane, when it burns, the smoke that it produced. So how can we utilize coffee waste? So first, there's livestock feed for the animals and for their food purposes, and then the second one is interior products. So imagine you're drinking coffee out of a cup made out of coffee bean. It's something like that. And then not just that, it can use for furniture making, and yeah, like product material. So next slide. Next is a watermelon rind waste. So when we eat watermelon, we don't usually think, oh, it's just watermelon rind. We throw it out, right? But it can affect the environment, I guess. So because people eat watermelon, people like to eat watermelon due to its nutrients and its taste. So the consumption of watermelon is actually pretty high. So what can we do with the watermelon rinds? So first, let's say for the ones that are invested in skincare, we can actually use watermelon rinds in our to create a skincare products out of it. Other than that, it can be a fertilizer, a natural source of fertilizer. Next slide. Next is the dairy industry. So, dairying, also called as dairy farming, branch of agriculture that encompasses the breeding, raising, and utilization of dairy animals, primarily cows. So, the types of dairies products are milk, ice cream, cheese, butter, and many more. So how can we utilize dairy is such as it can be an organic fertilizer or a bioplastic. So bioplastics are made by converting the sugar present in plants into plastic. So next is tomato waste. So tomato waste are from the skin itself, and other than that, how tomato can be an agricultural waste is when the tomato has gone bad. People usually throw it out, but other than throwing out, it can actually use to create a organic fertilizer. And there's a designer that has used this tomato waste to create a bioplastic container. So next slide. In conclusion, agriculture is the world's largest industries. Malaysia's global agriculture trade reached about 59.4 billion in 2021 with exports of 36.1 billion and imports of 23.3 billion. That's a huge number. But even within this multi-billion-dollar industry, waste still occur. To achieve a circular economy, we must find a way to close the cycle, and as designers, it is our responsibility to ensure that our design ultimately assists in attaining a circular economy in the future. Thank you. That is all from me.
Thank you, Mira, for enlightening us on agri-waste. Now, last but not least, please give a round of applause for the final presenter, Kian Gang entitled Design Response to Plastic Waste.
Okay, good morning everyone. So my name is Kian Gang and I'm in group 5 and my group title is Design Response to Plastic Waste. And first of all, I want to say thank you to all my teammates here, Intan Liana, Alif Iqbal, Lim Yongwi, Alif Haika, Akmal Hakim, Muhammad Najrin, Ong Kaikon, and Eng Kiang Pang for preparing this slide. Today I will going to tell you all about the 8 things, which is the recyclable plastic and non-recyclable plastics, plastic recycling industry, process of making plastic, pros and cons of plastics, and cost of plastic waste, how design contributes to plastic waste, the challenge in reducing plastic waste, and finally the uses of plastic waste in the design industry. Okay, so first of all, what is plastic? So plastics is a synthetic or manufactured polymer similar to natural resins found in trees and other plants, and they are actually made from oil and petroleum. So the polymers or the plastics have produced from a process of condensation and addition polymerization. So the material is very flexible and it can be made into a lot of things. Next. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you about is the recyclable plastic. So this plastic recycling is a method of reprocessing plastic into a new product. Okay, so and almost all plastics are non-biodegradable, so plastic recycling is actually very important and necessary. And our world has produced like millions and millions of plastics today, and there's only less than 10% of plastic waste was recycled, and less than 1% of them has been recycled more than once. And actually, plastic recycling will also have brings a lot of pros to us, like it helps to minimize the dependence on landfills, preserve resources, and protect the environment. Okay, and currently the most common plastic recycling method is mechanical recycling and feedstock recycling. So mechanical recycling is basically remelting and reforming the plastic waste into a new product. However, the process is very complicated and expensive. The other way to recycling the plastic waste is feedstock recycling. So feedstock recycling is the process that the plastic is converted back into its starting chemicals and then reprocessed again into a fresh new plastic. This process is generally better than mechanical recycling, but it costs a lot of energy and capital as well. Next. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the non-recyclable plastic. So today there's 12% or 44 millions of tons of thermosets or thermoset composites are being produced. And actually, here's the thing. Just now the recyclable plastics I mentioned is it's called thermoplastic, and this is thermoset plastic. The differences between them is thermoset plastic cannot be remelt and reformed, and it means that they cannot be recycled. And for the thermoplastic, it can be recycled and reused and reformed. And okay, and then okay. So as I mentioned that this is very difficult materials to recycle, and so they cannot really do anything on this material because it cannot be burned, it cannot be remelt. It cannot be remelt. Sorry. So they just burn it. So, but the incineration offers poor energy efficiencies and generates polluting emissions in mechanical, chemical, and thermal recycling. But it is actually the only way to deal with the problem. And so, but recently, the scientists has successfully invented a new materials is called helium. So helium is an acrylic-based polymer diluted in a reactive monomer blend with processing additives. So it can be shredded and then remelt to recover and reuse the resin. So basically, this material has some same characteristic with the thermoset plastic, which is durable and tough, but they can be remelt and reused again. So the helium, okay, never mind. Okay, so next is the plastic recycling industry. So there are few examples of the plastic recycling industry I'm going to introduce you. The first one is the hang hyap industry, HSI. This is actually a Malaysia in the plastic recycling industry. So their slogan is, by 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean. This is also their target lah. So they are a fully integrated plastic recycling company established in 2002, and they gather and process the ocean-bound plastic to create excellent material that can be manufactured. And actually, if you want to know more about this, you can go to their website, which is hanghyap.com, and I think that their website is very interesting to browse also. So the second industry is about the automation industry. So in South Africa, there's a company called Bayer Envirotech, or PTY Ltd. So they produce automotive filtration material as well as other automotive components and linings. And they are Bayer recycling. They have the plastic recycling line, which is the washing and recycling lines for mixed hard plastics. And the last one I am going to introduce is construction industry. So, as I mentioned earlier, the thermoset plastic is a type of plastic that cannot be remelt or recycled. So, people in the UNDP accelerator, they managed to find out a way to make them give another life for them, the thermoset plastic. So they managed to use them as bricks. So after a lot of scientific testing and approval, they successfully replaced the traditional bricks with just the thermoset plastic, which is a non-recyclable plastic. Okay, next. Okay, so next one is the plastic manufacturing. So plastic manufacturing is divided into two parts, which is primary and secondary. So the primary manufacturing process is they convert the raw materials such as crude oil, natural gas, and coal to basic petrochemical or hydrocarbon products. So it means that at this stage, the plastic is still very raw and cannot be used directly by the consumer. And there are four main processes which is in this primary manufacturing. The first one is extraction of oil. The second process is refining of oil, and the third one is polymerization, and the last one is compounding or processing. And for the secondary plastic manufacturing, this is actually where the manufacturer will produce the product we will use daily around us. So this process is a conversion of products from the primary process, which is just I introduced just now, to the semi-finished or finished product. So there are two processes in this secondary manufacturing, which is the processing operations and assembly operations. Next. So the processing operation means that the process is to transform the work material from one step of completion to another advanced step. It can be changed the geometry properties or appearance of the starting material. So these are the example of the processing operation, which is the plastic extrusion, injection molding, blow molding, and relational molding. For the assembly operation, this is about the joining two or more components to create a new entire product. Plastic parts can be assembled using various methods, including mechanical, chemical bonding, and thermal bonding. So these are the three distinct categories that are commonly referred to when choosing an assembly method. Okay, so next one is the gain and loss of plastic, or the advantage or disadvantage of the plastic. So the first one is the long lifespan encouraged reuse. So because the plastic is actually very it takes a long time to be biodegradable, and it is very, actually a lot of them is very tough and durable, so that, like I mentioned just now, some people manage to use them as bricks to build house, and this is their advantage. And for the disadvantage, it causes pollution, that we all know this is a very serious problem and issue currently, and people are actually trying to fix this problem as hard as they can. And the third one is disadvantage also, is human exposure to plastic. So plastic is actually very dangerous to human because like for example the toddlers or the kids, they can sometimes they will accidentally take in some small pieces of plastic, and then it will cause a lot of health problems like cancers, impaired immunity, or other like birth problems or something like that, and it's very serious problem. Next. Okay, so next one is the cost that make the plastic waste a waste. So the first one that make the plastic waste, the first cause of the plastic waste is the long-lasting materials. So as I mentioned like just now, like several times, that plastic is very hard to be degraded naturally. Like for example the PS or polystyrene, it takes tens or thousands of years to be biodegraded in like natural. So yeah, this is the cause of one of the cause of the plastic waste. And the second one is the excessive of plastic waste. So plastic waste is actually a name or term we call for the waste product from plastic. So but when it becomes too much, like today it's become a problem. When we say about, or we listen about the plastic waste, the worst, and this is actually become a problem, no longer just a terms or name. Plastic waste is a problem. So, and the third cause is single-use plastic, or SUP. So nowadays, a lot of manufacturers, they like to produce the single-use plastic, which that's like the name, it can only be used single time and then they throw away, because it is actually very simple and cheap to manufacture. So they want to cut their costs, they want to earn more profit, so they do not really consider about the environment or the afterlife of the plastic, so they just don't care about it. And the last one is how the authorities manage the waste. So to be honest, if we look around our apartment or anywhere, the plastic management is actually still very poor. And yes, they have did something, but still not enough. They cannot catch up with the plastic waste we produce every day. So next. Okay, so next is how design contribute to plastic waste. So there are two ways. First is the drop-in approach. So drop-in approach means that the material specifications are given and the recycled materials must be upcycled to specification to substitute for virgin polymers. So this is actually means that we have to think about first in design process. We have to think about first, is this sorry, okay. So is this plastic can be the specifications of plastic can be recycled or not? And actually the best way to understand it is to actually dive into the process of design, and then think about the future, the afterlife of the plastic, and also can be there's another way to understand is by teaching someone about it lah. So it's another way to respond to the contribute to the plastic waste is material driven design. So the properties of the recycled materials are used as a starting point of developing a completely new product. So for example, the thing that we are doing now in our final year project is like a circular design, and we are going to like use some recyclable or circular system in the design process to ensure that the whole product is a circular system that can reuse or reduce the waste. Yes, next. Okay, so this is the usage of plastic in the design industry. So there are 4 examples. First one is polypropylene. The second one is polyethylene, and third one is stiff polymer and elastomer. So for the polypropylene, the example of polypropylene is plastic packaging, plastic parts for machinery and equipment, and even fibers and textile. For the second one, the polyethylene example is plastic packaging, plastic parts for machinery, equipment, fibers, and textile. So, and the third one is protective products, structural materials, and others hard object. This is for the stiff polymer. For the last one, the elastomers is sketchy and flexible plastic that can be bent and shaped even after they have finally hardened. Next. Okay, so the conclusion of the presentation today from me is although the plastic is become a significant threat to us, this problem has been overlooked and underestimated. So, and people must look at the long-term effect of these small, easy carry bags they use. So again, this is about the awareness. Like every time after you go shopping or buying some groceries, and try to look at your hands, look at the plastic bag, and also look at the hands of others, plastic bags on others' hands, and try to think about where they will go eventually, and then think about our future, our earth, and our kids, and just think twice that do we actually need the plastic bag every time, or is it there's another way to compromise a bit for our earth. And then actually now it's not that we must stop using the plastic waste completely, but sometimes we should really think twice that for our earth, is that necessary to use plastic bag every time we go shopping, or we go take away the food and use the pollution? Is that really necessary, or we can just bring our own Tupperware and then or like the reusable bag and then go for shopping or go for buying a food? This is actually not very hard to do, and I encourage everyone to do this from now on for our Mother Earth. So, and I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Archen Gang, for the great information. And with that, we end our group presentations. Before we get to the next agenda, we will have a short break. We will be right back in 10 minutes. Thank you. Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. Please be seated. We will start our forum shortly. Welcome, students of Diploma in Industrial Design from Malaysian Institute of Arts. Everybody give them a round of applause. Assalamualaikum. Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to 2023 Design Forum entitled Design Response to Circular Economy. My name is Adila and I will be your MC for today. Before we start, I would like to go through our tentative schedule today. We will first start our forum with our two panelists, Madam Anja Julia Abu Bakar and Mr. Ismail Rosti, moderated by my fellow classmate Fatin Faisal. You will also be given a chance to submit your questions to the panelists, whether from the audience in the hall or even from our Facebook live stream. At the end of the event, a QR code will be given to the students for merit purpose. Before we begin, we would like to first extend our thanks to the Department of Design of the Faculty of Design and Architecture UPM, Darn Lucas and Laser UK Studio for sponsoring today's event. Announcing the arrival of our VIP guests, the Dean, Associate Professor, Professional Landscape Architect Dr. Suhardi Maulan, and our panelists Madam Anja Julia Abu Bakar and Mr. Ismail Rosti. Please rise. Now, let us sing the national anthem Negaraku, followed by Putra Gemilang. Please rise. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia Associate Professor Professional Landscape Architect Dr. Suhardi Maulan, Dean of Faculty of Design and Architecture UPM. Yang berusaha Dr. Muhammad Sharizal Dola, Head of Industrial Design Department. Our professional panelists, beloved lecturers and audience. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everybody here in the hall. Welcome to our 2023 Design Forum entitled Design Response to Circular Economy. Will be moderated by our Year 4 Industrial Design student Fatin Faisal. We have our distinguished panels of speakers, Madam Anja Julia Abu Bakar and Mr. Ismail Rosdi joining us today. Praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have been graced with the chance to gather in this beneficial ceremony. Before we move on, let us begin with a dua recitation that will be led by Muhammad Nazri bin Muhammad Nasir.
A'udzubillahiminasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah ya Karim, sesungguhnya kami berhimpun pada hari ini bagi menyatakan kesyukuran di atas kurniaan-Mu yang tidak ternilai, bersempena dengan majlis forum Design Response to Circular Economy. Jadikanlah kami hamba-hamba-Mu yang sentiasa bersyukur sama ada nikmat yang sedikit, lebih-lebih lagi yang melimpah ruah kepada kami. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, sesungguhnya Engkau maha mengetahui bahawa kami di sini ingin menimba ilmu-Mu yang sangat luas bagi mengembangkan potensi kami sebagai hamba-Mu yang Engkau redai. Justru berkati dan rahmatilah majlis kami pada pagi ini. Kurniakanlah kepada kami apa kiranya ilmu-Mu. Sinarilah hati-hati kami dengan cahaya dan hidayah-Mu. Semoga dengannya kami mudah menerima dan menghayati serta mengamalkannya. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, kurniakanlah apa kiranya kepada kami kesihatan anggota, kecergasan minda, ketenangan jiwa, kekuatan semangat. Semoga dengannya kami mampu menepani cabaran, berdaya saing dan mampu mengangkat martabat diri, keluarga, masyarakat dan negara. Wassallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wasahbihi wasallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Ameen, Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Thank you to Nazri for the dua recitation just now. Now, let's make way for the promotional video of the Design Forum. I will now welcome the project leader of the forum, Mr. Pravin Rao, to give a brief speech to the audience.
Yang berbahagia, our Dean Associate Prof. Landscape Architecture Dr. Suhardi Maulan. Yang berusaha Head of Industrial Design Department of FRSB, TS Dr. Muhammad Sharizal Dola. Our professional panelists, Madam Anja Julia Abu Bakar and Mr. Ismail Rosdi. Our beloved lecturers and our ever supportive audience. A very good morning to all of you. I, Pramira Analaki Santiran, the director of today's forum, would like to formally welcome all of you to the Industrial Design Forum 2023, Design Response to Circular Economy. Thank you. We are representing the 4th year students of Industrial Design at University Putra Malaysia. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the panelists to be with us today here to share their experience and knowledge related to circular economy. I would also like to thank the presenters and audience who are participating in today's forum to share their design thoughts and opinions. We also have participants from other institutes and organizations such as the lecturers and students of MIA, Malaysia Institute of Arts, as well as our online audience. A warm welcome to everyone. I would also like to thank Prof. T.S. Dr. Khairul Aidil Azlin Abdul Rahman, CIDE, and Professor Maja T.S. Dr. Nazlina Shari from Department of Industrial Design, University Putra Malaysia, for guiding us in making this forum happen. I would also like to thank my fellow committees and their members for their effort in conducting this event today. So I don't want to take much time. So last but not least, I hope we can continue in good spirits in creating more impactful designs to help with environmental and society so that we can live a better future. And with these final words, I hope this forum will go as planned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pravin Rao, for the heartwarming speech. Now, I welcome the Dean, Associate Professor, Professional Landscape Architect, Dr. Suhardi Maulan, to give an opening speech.
Thank you, Miss MC, right? Okay, distinguished coordinator of the course, I think, Professor T.S. Dr. Khairul, Head of Department, Dr. Sarizai is here, okay, and then the industrial panelists that we have here, Puan Anjah, as well as Cik Ismail Rosli, Rosli, okay, and then the program directors, right, and all the students and lecturers that is in the hall today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning. First of all, I'm very delighted to be here with you in this official launching ceremony of this Forum Industry 2023, which is organized by the final year students. I made to be known of the Bachelor of Industrial Design, Faculty of Design and Architecture, UPM. Congratulations to all to the organizer for be able to organize this important forum, right? By by looking at your face, I know that all of you are tired, right? But nevertheless, the semester is about to end. This week is going to be your 14th semester, 14 weeks, sorry, 14 weeks, and after this you're going to have exam. Then after that you can take the rest. Hopefully it's going to be a good rest before you embark to be on your final sem, I guess, next semester, right? Right. So I was made to be known that the this forum is about the cultural economy, right? The cultural economy, and you guys is going to discuss about the how it relates to industrial design, I presume, right? But anyway, we are here. Anyway, we are today. People are talking about circular economy. I think this is one of the key things when we're talking about sustainable development. And when we talk about sustainable development, we cannot move away from the sustainable development goal and sustainable development tenet, which is talking about the environment, people, and economy. And economy is one thing that really matters most, actually. At the first part of sustainability, people talk a lot about the environmental design, but as we move forward, economy become more and more crucial, okay, because it is a driving factors for the betterment of the society and for the well-being of the society. So it's very crucial, and therefore the circular economy is a term that has been coined to support the sustainable development. What does it mean? From my understanding, I'm not really an expert on circular economy, but from my understanding is that whatever you do is coming from the resources, and at the end of the day, it will go back to the resources. Alright, so at the end of the day, you are creating a zero net carbon or zero net waste. Right, that is the thing that have been people are talking about it. right? And then it's very challenging because I think that we design and we produce product a lot every day, right, from the factory and so forth. And at the end of the day, we will ask where it goes, right? The waste from it goes where? Where is it? Is it going to go to our environment back? But in what form? So that is the thing that is very crucial for us as a designer to understand. I'm from landscape architect field, but I know very well that this thing, if you are talking about upcycling, upskilling, whatever thing, recycling, right? We are talking also the same thing in the landscape architecture, but from a but with a different form and different format, right? We're talking about the plants, we're talking about the biodiversity, we're talking about the animals, we're talking about the land users, but it is the same thing. At the end of the day, we want the optimum use of the resources for the benefit of us and for the betterment of the future generation. So that is very important. And talking about circular economy as well and sustainable development, we need to really understand, the student need also to understand that with the sustainable development goal, people are talking about the ESG, okay, ESG, environmental sustainable goal, environmental social governance, right, that have been promoted by the Bursa Malaysia. So indirectly or directly, it has forced all these major company in Malaysia to invest, right, in the environmental based economy. So this is something that must be looked after by the students, all right, because when you are graduating, this is the field of economy that, or the sector that you can play the very important roles, right? Because this big giant or big company is looking into the way and mean actually to capitalize on the environmental business to make money. I was in the Sustainable Forum last week, right? And then they give one of this person talking about the carbon trading, right? When they're talking about the carbon trading, they are talking about Tesla. You know Tesla, right? I think all of you know Tesla, right? You are industrial designer, not landscape architect, so you should know Tesla better than me, right? But Tesla actually producing car, smart car, automated car, and so forth. But actually, for the first 5 or 6 years of their development or their business, actually are they making money more from the carbon trading rather than selling the car itself. So it is a very big business, right? People are jumping into the sustainable business, circular economy, and everything, all right? So as the future graduates of industrial design program, you should know this thing. We are not only taught about good form, good design, good shape, good color, good use, but at the end of the day, how actually the product or whatever design that you produce will somehow contribute to this environmental economy. So that is very critical. Alright, so with that, I don't want to give a lecture on circular economy. I think you guys are going to have a forum, you guys are going to have a lecture. I believe that the experts are here to give you feedbacks about what needs to be done, what is it, the issue, and everything, and make use of this forum to really enhance your knowledge and use it for your future. All right. So with that, I would like to thank these FRNIA students or organizer to having me this morning, as well as congratulations and good luck to all of you. All right. So I feel so honored to be invited to officiate this opening ceremony. So with that, with the Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, now I officially officiate this Industrial Design Forum for 2023 with the theme of Design Response to Circular Economy. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Saradi, for the opening speech. Now, the exciting part. I would like to invite all the VIPs and the event leader to officially launch the event. Our event leader Pravin Rao will lead the launch. Next, we welcome the Dean. Next, we welcome our first professional panelist, Mr. Ismail Rosti. Last but not least, the launch is completed by Madam Anja Julia Abu Bakar. Thank you all, you may be seated. Everyone, before we start, here's another video preview. Now, without further ado, let us welcome our moderator for our forum today onto the stage, Miss Fatin Faisal. Give her a round of applause. Fatin Faisal is a final year student of the Industrial Design program. Last year, she was a member of the 10th College Representative Council as head of the Recreational Secretariat. She has also previously moderated various other forums, making her the most fitting person to lead our forum today. Now, I welcome both of our professional panelists, Madam Anja Julia Abu Bakar and Mr. Ismail Rosdi, to join our moderator on stage. All right, Fatin, I'm heading the mic over to you. The stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you to our MC for today, Ms. Adila. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone in the hall and in our live stream. Thank you for coming to our Industrial Design Forum of 2023 in order of our Seed Showcase 2023. Today's topic is Design Response to Circular Economy. Circular economy, as explained by our dean just recently, is sometimes also referred to as CE or circularity. It is defined by the Oxford Dictionary as an economic system based on the reuse and regeneration of materials or products, especially as a means of continuing production in a sustainable or environmentally friendly way. How can design, in the process of designing, ultimately contribute to achieving a circular economy? Today, we will be exploring that with our honored panelists. So without further ado, allow me to introduce our panelists once again. To my left, we have Puan Anja Juliah Abu Bakar. Puan Anja, welcome to our forum.
Thank you.
Puan Anja is a social entrepreneur. Yes. And the founder of Athena Holding Sendirian Berhad, which specializes in feminine hygiene products and services, aiming to contribute towards the socio-economic development of, in general, and of course, Malaysia. Thank you for coming, Puan Anja. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatin.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, good.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Thank you. It's great to hear. For our next panelist we have Encik Ismail Rosdi, who is the head of the Design Policy and Adversary of Majlis Reka Bentuk Malaysia, MRM. Welcome, Encik Ismail.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Encik Ismail, you have some slides that you wish to introduce yourself with.
Maybe
Yes.
for the end of the session, I will show our project, to ESG project. But not later.
At the end of the session. Okay. So, all right. Thank you for coming today to our panelists. So, to begin our forum, of course, generally we have introduced our honored panelists to the audience today, but I'd like to know more about you. I'd like to know more of Puan Anja and Encik Ismail. So, in terms of circular economy and circular design, what has correlated in your field and what you've done previously? Puan Anja, if you would like to answer first. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Thank you for having me today. To answer your questions, let me just share about our company. It is called Athena Holding Sendirian Berhad, a social enterprise that empower young marginalized girls, where we produce reusable, washable sanitary products as well as diapers. But the idea came way back since 2007, inspired by after reading Blue Ocean Strategy. So I was thinking like something to create something new. But back then the word circular economy only heard about it way in 2015 when it first introduced. Right in the same year with when they launched Sustainable Development Goal by United Nations. And yeah, there are a lot of challenges when you want to promote something good, because our product, we try to educate consumers and also support them to how they can switch from throwaway culture to reusable culture, because our product require you to wash and reuse rather than just throw away. You can go to our website athenaempowers.com. But there's, of course, as an entrepreneur, there are a lot of challenges, and I found that it's quite hard for me to market the product, because what I can do back then, 2008, 2009, 2010, is only to educate, but does not really translate to people buying the product. So 2010, I decided to expand the product, rather than market in Malaysia, but we market it in abroad via many channels. I use online channels like eBay, Alibaba, Etsy.com, and somehow that's how I started to get agents, distributors from other countries. And 2016, we decided to start to rebrand and start promoting in Malaysia. Alhamdulillah, I mean, it's a positive growth after that because we managed to, expand the brand abroad, then bring it back to Malaysia. So it works like starting Malaysia, but not really work. And that's also a lesson to me that if something not working, it's not because of you, it's not because of the product, but maybe you need to understand about your customers that are ready to know about the new things. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Miss Anja. Yes, I have heard of some of your products actually in terms of the feminine hygiene and sanitary products and things like that. And it has been an issue. I think it's recently came into popularity here in Malaysia. So that's great. Like, I would love to see and learn more about what you've done and what you have achieved lately. Thank you. For Encik Ismail.
Okay,
Could you please-
Assalamualaikum. Thank you very much and very good morning. I'm Ismail from Malaysia Design Council. Actually, previously I'm working with industry, design and manufacturing. Then I joined Malaysia Design Council since 1996 until now, almost 27 years. Then actually, when we talk about circular economy, we talk about circular design. And also we talk about the sustainable design, sustainable innovation. So Malaysia Design Council is a national agency under Ministry of International Trade. And we have a strategic to helping our stakeholders through talent management, means from school, preschool, and industry international program. We have a policy on design, in design, everything about standard, everything about sustainable. Then we have a design for good design award, made in Malaysia product to export program. Advisory program. We also have the business for community. The one we helping SMEs for commercialization. Of course, we involved in a sustainable product, the ESG program for SDG, and the last one we have the innovation entrepreneurship. The one is for schools and universities and the startup. So this is one of the major initiative of strategy from government agency, led by MIDA actually, Malaysian Industrial Development Authority, and even they provide the special grant for ESG program and circular economy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Encik Ismail. So, in your recent work, you have been involved in trying to promote circular economy from the government sector. Is that what I've understood?
Yes, we started from a preschool, from a Kementerian Luar Bandar preschool program. We've appointed by the Kementerian Luar Bandar as an advisor for the preschool project for means the product for education kit. Use the sustainable material. Then for Ministry of Education, we started from primary secondary school. This one in design technology subject involving sustainable. University also we have a lot of program in Quebec University for sustainable product design. And industry we have a special project that one is for commercialization. We received a grant from the government in terms of to helping the industry, especially SMEs, to design and to commercial the product. Later I will show you our last project. Then maybe we can share something for ESG program. Okay.
I see. All right. Thank you. So I think for the first question, really lah, for both our panelists is how have you tried to apply the practices of ensuring a circular economy in what you've done recently in your work, Puan Anja, for your company, Athena Holding? As you've mentioned, you've used like cotton products, I think it was, for your products. So what was the process of that, and how did you come to create that design? How did that come?
Okay, thank you. Athena, I mean, even our social mission is to to combat, somehow to fight menstrual poverty by providing sustainable solution. That's how we started by providing the free reusable product to girls in marginalized area. Marginalized girls in rural area. It started way back in 2012 after learn about Malaysian girls who miss 5 to 7 days of school in a month due to not having access to proper sanitary products. And it's really hurt to know about these girls. Not only they miss school, but some they use alternative substitute, like you won't believe it, but yeah, I was also like really shocked to know when girls use coconut husk that they stuff in socks and use as a substitute. Imagine in 21st century we do have girls who have to use that alternative. And because I believe that education is important, and to learn about 15,000 Malaysian girls back then that missed 5 to 7 days of school is totally not accepted. So what we did, January 2013, we launched a girl empowerment program, where for every customers that purchase our product, a girl will be sponsored. So moving forward to today, we have actually sponsored more than 3,000 girls. But we actually monitored 1997 girls that we direct sponsored, and from 2016 to 2021, we have actually helped remove 464,000 of sanitary waste to the landfill, and the girls have actually saved 500,000 from purchasing normal disposable pads. So that's how we contribute. But in order to support the circular economy, inshallah Atina will launch our disposable pad, but this is a biodegradable pad where it will degrade within 6 to 12 months, unlike the normal sanitary products, which is 500 years. So it's already tested, gone through to Sirim, and soon we will inshallah launch the product.
Wow, that's very fascinating, yes. So it was because of, what would you say? Was it because of your study of what you've known of these challenges that girls face that encouraged you to pursue your career in this?
Okay, my background was in human resource, but I embarked into entrepreneur journey in July 2012. And how this girls' experience relate to me, because I was a college dropout. At the age of 21, I have to, for whatever reason, for many reasons, I dropped out. But back then I was like, don't know what to do, but I guess I still need to continue my education. And because I'm a city girl, I have many friends and relatives that support me, so I end up further my study and graduate in human resource. But then meeting the girls, when I learned about these girls have to miss school, and some of them even drop out at the age of 13, 14. And one of the turning points is when I interviewed one of the mother, is that I asked the mother why she should allow her 14-year-old daughter to stay in school. And then the mother responded like, why should I waste my money if she already knows how to read and write? And I decided not to argue with her because I'm not in her position, but asking myself again, what can I do? If I'm as a city girl, I have many support. I have a strong support system, but these girls, they live in a rural area. So this is our contribution in a way to and encourage them to stay in school until 17 years old. And as long as, we don't want to have girls just to get married at early age, because child marriage is real and it's happening. So we cannot fight, but we can only just help reduce and encourage more girls to stay in school.
I see. Yes, I feel like that would push forward for us to try to contribute in order to make things, especially in our country specifically, better and so on. For Encik Ismail, what would you say has pushed you forward in in what you've done in your field, especially towards circular economy? Why have you chosen this path?
Firstly, I would like to congratulate Mr. Anja, because you have the great experience in terms of to produce the sustainable product. And I would like to invite Mr. Anja husband to come to Malaysian Council for Malaysia Good Design Award application form. They want the highest recognition from governments for the Good Design Award for sustainable product. I would like to invite, maybe we can promote this FOC. We will help you to promote what we have. So from the government sector, from our government agency, actually we must focus what is the challenge first. The challenge number one is actually the waste management. This is one of the issues. Number two is circular economy strategic. Okay. The number three is bio-based material. The three issues is the main issues for support the SMEs actually. And as you can see, we don't have really a CE roadmap. The roadmap is focused on plastic, bio-based only, this one. So on National Council, we are trying in each our program, we will focus on sustainable product. So from a manufacturing sector, on material, and even in packaging design also. So this is the initiative, okay, led by the government to ensure that all the industries or SMEs, okay, to fulfill the requirement for ESG and SDG for circular economy. And I would like to also to inform you that there's an initiative by government. Is number one is manufacturing for CO. They say I will show you the project later. And packaging materials. This is one of the number one export industry. If you can see the matrix statistic, packaging design is number one industry in Malaysia. Packaging design, that's why they try to explore the new material, okay, used by the sustainable material, biomass, and also the waste management for clinical waste and solid waste. Okay, this is something. Then I will show the project later. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Puan Anja and Encik Ismail. I think that those are very insightful things and views that we've never really considered before. And to hear it spoken of is like, I think it's eye-opening in a sense on how important circular economy is in terms of environmental waste, and how in extension it can also contribute in society, and how it affects, as you mentioned, these underprivileged girls and things and so forth. Have you seen how Puan Anja has, I think, Encik Ismail, have you seen how close the effects of this waste has reached you? Encik Ismail, yes. Have you seen how close the effects of waste that is not made use of, how it affects near you? Have you seen how bad it can get?
Actually, a lot of waste material okay, used by our community. That's why we have a special project with SW Corp. We started since last 2 years, to ensure that all the waste material, as I mentioned to you earlier, the clinical waste and material must be recycled or upcycled to produce new product. And I think it is better I show you the project. I think better after this finish, I will show the detail, everything. Yes. Even from school, everything, for as I mentioned to you, for preschool, the education kit must be used the recycled material. Okay, they want to about the costly product you have to buy. They use the recycled material as educational kit, and also they teach the students to use the material to produce the product, anything. This is something yang I like to inform you. Maybe I like to inform the audience, when we talk about circular economy, we imagine this is for industry. Actually, preschool we have been started last 5 years later, because this is very important. Preschool, even they are studying on robotic also, for the new digital technology from preschool. I think this nation is very advancing. I think this advanced, and I think this is too advanced for preschool. So this is when we talk about the waste material. This is one of the main issue, and we also collaborate with our partner from Korea, Seoul Upcycling Plaza, where they use the upcycling method to produce the new product. Okay, they provide the design house at the Seoul Upcycling Plaza to ensure all the material has been used by designers to produce the new product. And we are trying to approach SW Corp to use the same method as a Seoul Upcycling Plaza. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Encik Ismail. Yes, I think furthering what you said, I think you've kind of also highlighted how important circular economy is. So I think my next question is to both of you, whoever would like to answer first. If circular economy is so important, if it's so important that we achieve it one day, why is it, do you think, that we as a society, even maybe our government, is not taking more action to ultimately achieve the end goal, a circular economy without waste, and so on and so forth?
I guess it's not that the government didn't take any action. They did, and in fact, in last year during the budget, where Tengku Zafrul announced, the finance minister then announced that they have allocated 2 billion to support those in applying ESG. So look this as an opportunity, because when we talk about supporting those that for SMEs embark on their ESG journey, see where you can contribute. As my advice to you students, government, they did their part. All you need is to read more, to understand, and in what ways you can also add values to your future employer. For example, you by now you already have at least 50 future employees that you have to work with. If they happen to be a public listed company, learn about their sustainability policies, and when you are preparing yourself to be interviewed, or maybe get yourself to be accepted as an intern, in what ways you can offer your value in terms of the company applying, understand about sustainability or ESG. Make yourself as a consultant, junior consultant, that you can contribute to the company, so that this company will see you as a more value, even compared to their internal staff. And why is it for the entrepreneurs, for SMEs, for example, they should be like Atina. We've been championing this since 2015, and I realized that whenever I go abroad to market our product, and it's easy to get the buy-in, because the first thing they did was they go through our website. They go to our website, and the first word that they see from our website is the word sustainability. And today I'm actually answering to all my questions to other SMEs. How do you manage to get buyers from abroad, from the US, Europe, Middle East? Because we have applying this since 2015, and now here in Malaysia, corporates, they are into applying ESG, and they want to also work with vendors, SMEs, that also applying sustainability, ESG, and so that they would just not working alone. They want to work and support SMEs that also believe in towards working towards sustainability. So your role as a future employee or maybe entrepreneur, having to read, the right mindset, have to read a lot, study about your future employer, in what ways you can also added more value in terms of becoming so-called junior consultant, green consultant for example, or sustainability consultant to them. Even they don't have that position yet, but you can get them to give you good referral when you want to apply for another job with bigger company, for example. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'll also extend the same question to Encik Rostila.
I do agree with Manja actually. This is one of the to become the professional designers entrepreneurship. When you most of designers, they think about design only. You must know about business model, the brand strategic, your financial management, how you deal with your suppliers, everything. This is current trend. Not only just design. And for information, ECSG now, the economy, we are now helping the bank industry for ESG project. Okay, the bank industry, how to reduce the financial issue, the material used in the banking industry. Can you imagine designers helping the bank industry to help the SME bank? So in order to answer your question, how government, what is the government initiative to ensure our stakeholders appreciate the CE? Okay, number one is a regulation also. Okay, number regulation, we have a policy, we have the grant providing by our agencies. We have a knowledge institute. As Mr. Anja said, the knowledge is very important from preschool. We have to promote from preschool and to ensure that the curriculum in school and university, they must put, this about sustainable design, the circular design also. And with entrepreneurship, the entrepreneur must learn how to take risks in order to use the recycled material, because we're helping more than last year we have more than the 160 products to commercial, and we're trying to ask them to use the recycled material. As Mr. Anja said, this is very difficult to consult them to use the recycled material because dia dah selesa, dia tak nak, tak berani. So we consult, don't, memanglah for the first time you have the cost memang akan tinggi. Then want the second chance you akan dapat the cost yang very minimal kat situ. The number one is consumer itu sendiri, the consumer itself. Normally we are trying to manage a campaign, everything from school, universities, and the public at large. This is one of this our initiative. Okay, thank you.
Maybe if I can add, that recently I had a discussion with one 5-star hotel, international hotels, that they are now wanting to move to applying ESG. So one of my suggestion, advice to them is that to see what are the things that they can help reduce. For example, like used linen, they have like I don't know how thousands of unused linen, the old linen, and in the end I connected them to another social enterprise that work on upcycling product to make apron, to make like laundry bag, and that can be resell back to their customers. So maybe when you do your next project, you tackle certain industries like waste to reduce for hotel industries, for construction industries, so many, F&B, a lot of ideas can be created, because this is like how you combine the orange economy as well as the circular economy. Two, when you combine become one, I believe miracle happen.
I see. Yeah, that's very important points lah, I think that both our panelists have given. So I think I'm also interested, based on what you said, I'm interested in learning more about your experience, about you, what you've done, in terms of like what you have achieved in, like as you said, you explored you've explored overseas producers and things like that. So what was that like in terms of still trying to go through, still going with circular economy? Were there challenges that they couldn't commit to or things like that?
Challenge is, I mean, there's always challenge, but always see challenge as an opportunity, because back then 2008, who will actually use our product? But then we need to rethink and what I call it, redesign your thinking, especially in getting new target customers, customer segment. That's the most important thing, because no money you cannot survive. So, but in the same time, you want to also support the, I mean, champion sustainability, to support CE, and I guess you look for the right customer segment. So back in 2012, we partner with zero waste communities, where they are very active worldwide. This is also another I mean, channel that we connected to our customers abroad, and but we still continue in educating young girls the importance of stay in school, having an ambition, and supply them with free sanitary products. And because of that, we were also asked by the mothers, because every time we do our programs, the mothers with the Orang Asli girls, the mothers, their elder sister will also join. And one day they asked, Madam, you always come and educate the girls, what about us? I said, I'm not a trainer, I'm just like educating the girls about good menstrual hygiene. Oh, so teach us about business, because you are an entrepreneur. I said, okay. Then from one village, we got approached from another village. They said, oh, we heard that you teach business to these mothers. Can you teach us? So we are like enjoying ourselves when we can go from one Orang Asli kampung to another Orang Asli kampung, until we were contacted by one by Star newspaper, and they would like to join us to do some video photography. And that's when we got these Golden Heart Awards for the work that we do. And because of that, we we work with AirAsia Foundation to educate rural women in Sabah to be more empower them economically. And of course, AirAsia has do us a lot of favor, where they shared about our story in their Travel 360 magazine, and from there how it leads to Turkish Airlines, who also want us to train women NGO in Zanzibar. I mean, all the way from us going from one jungle to one jungle, to be given an such award, Golden Heart Awards, and then work with AirAsia, Turkish Airlines, and be funded by FedEx to Amsterdam to share how Athena have actually scaled out our impact from helping the girls with menstrual hygiene to rural women economic empowerment. And I guess when we talk about achievement, it's not so much of achievement, but that how we can inspire others, especially when we had this opportunity to be invited to the White House and hosted by Miss Ivanka Trump herself back in 2019. And recently in September 2022, just before the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, we've been the last recipient. I mean, because just after we were informed by the Prime Minister Office in UK that we are selected among 54 Commonwealth countries, and fortunate that the Queen has signed the certificate. It's just that we don't have the opportunity to meet the Queen, but somehow we are the last recipient to receive the Commonwealth Points of Light Award by late Her Majesty Queen. So I mean, but it's still we will still continue regardless there's an achievement or not. But importantly is that we want to tell the girls, inspire the girls, that they have know about their self-value, and that they have ambition. I mean, yeah, to do whatever they want to do.
I see. So I'm going to piggyback off of that. Your main target seems to be mainly women, mainly girls, and things like that.
It's supposed to, yes, when we started, after we learned about the girls on the menstrual poverty issues. But now I'm also educate SMEs and micro SMEs about importance of understanding about sustainability, applying ESG, because this is what the future, the market wants. Because CE is the next trillion, trillion market lah. For you to explore. So you students, maybe if you are not as entrepreneur, become yourself a junior consultant. Get exposed. If you have desired companies that you want to work with in future, learn who are the CEO, follow them, learn what, read what they always shared, and try to, brave yourself to respond to whatever they are posting, because you want to get yourself visible. Because when you are visible, they started to know you. Because I was a HR specialist before, and what I did, I looked for students who are active in LinkedIn. That was in 2011, 2010, 2011. I started to look for students that very active in LinkedIn, because it's not about the grades, but the way they think about. From what they post. They can repost whatever article, but as long as you know this student read about this article, and you know the level of their thinking, not so much on their grade. Of course, grade will help, but having good mindset, good knowledge will help too.
Okay, thank you, Puan Anja. I would like to ask your opinion, Encik Ismail, in terms of for the students, what do you think are the steps, like Puan Anja has just stated before, that we could take moving forward in order to bridge the industry, in order to make our contributions going forward?
Okay. For students, you belajar design, tetapi yang paling penting sekali, you must know what is the industry, apa industri nak, dengan stakeholders nak, itu saja. Okay, you learn about design, but your knowledge must beyond on this, from design, the business, entrepreneurship. This is one of the major issue from the government. They like to ensure that most of our students become entrepreneurs. That's it, because they provide a lot of grant outside there. Then you must know about the business, how the professionalism, the personal attribution, everything about manufacturing process, even the brand management, the strategic, even your communication with local international partnership. This is very important. Actually, from my opinion, simple. And is it possible I can show you our project before we have?
Yes.
Just give me about 5 minutes.
Yes, I was just about to say lah.
5 minutes.
So, for our audience in the hall and our live stream, Encik Ismail has prepared some slides that he wishes to share with us regarding his previous projects that he's
last year project.
done. Technical, thank you, please. So these projects were projects that you've done previously. Were they recent?
Last year.
So they were recent. They were done with in collaboration with the government.
We are as a consultant for industries.
I see. So it was private. It was
The private sectors.
Private sectors.
Industry.
I see.
And for your information, we just have another project for EV, electrical vehicle, this year, and the biomass material for furniture design, and also one of the medical product. We will start it for the first quarter, and we will deliver. They give us only 6 months to deliver the prototype for pre-commercialization prototype, and they will commercial by this year. Okay, this is our special project. Boleh tak I berdiri?
Boleh.
Prof, boleh saya berdiri ya? Okay, this is we call it the HVA grant, high value added grant. Kita dapat the MITI 1 million last year to ensure that empowering local industry to school design project. Okay, next. Okay, next. No photo please. because this one this is project collaborate with for States War. This project mainly aims to develop and enhance equipment, achieving maximum moisture removal. We use the material for the next design. This is on IND in project. Okay, next. Okay, next. This is our second project with Genius Wisdom. Next. Okay, next. This is any product, the portable dental unit. This is for the dental untuk pergi ke kawasan pedalaman. Okay, next. We have designed this one that use the recycled material. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, this is with the Nurainis. You know the Nurainis, the packaging design, the product kan. Okay, next. This project, okay, this is about shakers. Means the material, the less use of material but the lasting product you boleh pakai. This is the dalam school economy, less material but lasting you punya product, dia tak boleh recycle. This is the project akan dikomersialkan by this year insyaAllah. Next. Okay, next. Okay, saya tunjuk macam ni, tak boleh tengok banyak sebab ada banyak PNC kat sini. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, dia kita buat dengan HZ product packaging. This is for MACD. Okay, next. Okay, next. So McDonald dia guna this company, we use the cup yang recycle cup tu, the process balik untuk buat dunia cap, dan insyaAllah akan dikomersialkan, akan digunakan oleh MACD selepas ni. Okay, next. This one. Okay, so means dalam bisnes ni macam Puan Anja cakap, you dah tahu you dah ada market, bukan you buat design dulu sembarang. You dah ada takers, baru you buat. Separuh orang dia buat design tapi tak ada takers. This is problem keadaan awal. Macam kita memang ada takers. This project semua dah ada takers, memang untuk production semua, untuk for commercialization. Kalau tidak kita tak akan buat. Because grant ni actually special grant for governments yang kita akan this year kita akan bagi lagi. Okay, next. Okay, next. Dia guna waste material. Okay, next. This furniture playground kita buat BPS. Next. Kita guna the HDB. Okay, this one dah siap. Dia guna recycle material plastik, dah siap dah. Dah siap dah, akan di launch dalam masa terdekat. Okay, next. Okay, next. Dah siap dah. Kita dah siap kan. Dia guna HDBE, recycle material, dia guna tu sudah siap. Okay, next. Okay, pro landscape. Okay, next. Okay, next. Kenal Hatta Dolmat tak? Fashion designers. Okay, next. Tahu tak dia punya furniture ni? Next. Kita okay. Furniture ni menggunakan kayu-kayu yang buat apa landasan kereta api tu. Itu tak dijual tak boleh jual sebab kayu tu memang high, memang dia punya kualiti lebih tinggi. Diguna baik dan dia beli dengan harga yang mahal untuk buat furniture ni. This one. Okay, next. So untuk tadi tu dia guna recycle material dan dia gunakan plastic bottle untuk buat dia punya cover. Rasa plastik, dia punya kilang yang ada dekat Melaka, dia guna plastik untuk buat tekstil sekarang dah. So sekarang plastik pun the bottle plastik semua digunakan untuk recycle material. So this project semua sebahagian telah dikomersialkan dan sebahagian dalam DC insya-Allah. So this grant insya-Allah kita akan dapat balik. Kita dapat lagi grant ni semula untuk bantu another 5 industri untuk for commercial punya product. So this is the government, maksudnya government banyak bantu. You macam Puan Anja cakap lah, you kena rajin lah, bukan you duduk kat sini. Rasa Puan Anja pun memang dulu memang cabaran struggle nak dapatkan sponsor, nak dapatkan bantuan. Saya rasa ramai industri yang kita jumpa macam itulah sebenarnya. Macam tapi I respect dia because dia berani, dia sanggup berhenti dia dengan cerita dia berani, dia sanggup berhenti, dia pergi explore walaupun bukan bidang dia. Yang tu I respect lah, because bukan bidang dia HR dan dia become innovator kat sini. Okay, good lah. So datang Emak dari depan ni
Okay, thank you Encik Ismail for sharing your slides, for sharing your experience in the working field. I think it's really eye-opening for us, and insyaAllah after this kita nak menjejak kaki itulah into the working. So seterusnya, I think that's all for our forum today. But before we continue, we should of course ask for questions from the hall. Are there any questions? that anyone would like to ask our panelists today? We have two. Oh, I see one over there, one over there. Who wants to go first? Okay, thank you. So I'll ask you to introduce yourself and ask our panelists and direct your question to whichever lah. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Nurunoha binti Muhammad Nizam, final year student of Industrial Design. I would like to ask this question to Madam Anja Julia. How, as a company founder, you educate your employees or customers about the circularity habits, like how to recycle after using your products? So yeah, that's the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I like your questions. It's not on educating them, but it comes from the day you want to hire them. We won't ask typical questions when you interviewing a student, or to hire new staff. But it's more interesting is to explore about their thinking process, their thought process. You know that candidate read a lot about on articles, have general information rather than what you study in the university, because we want it to be related to our industry. And we know if you are a reader, you are a future leader, because you need to read a lot. How can we just get a good grade student but you didn't read? We need to know about your more about your knowledge, your thinking process. And if you are a reader, it's easy for us to train you, to educate you, because in the end it's all about your attitude towards whether you are coachable, are you a learner. So that's the most important for us lah, someone that really be able to explore, and of course not so much about whether they have this habit, good habit or not. That's a plus point lah, bonus, but it's all about their thinking process.
Thank you, Puan Anja. There was someone else with a question, I think, over there. Yes? Ada.
Okay, good morning. My name is Gan Cheng Lo. I'm from the final year student, industrial design. So from this forum, I can get the point that the circular economy is so beneficial. So my question is, if the logic of circular economy is so comparing, why are not more company doing it already?
Okay, maybe I can help answer the question first. I guess it's not that the company why they are not supporting or championing the CE or sustainability or ESG, because maybe they are not made aware of. That is where you are here when you work with SMEs or companies. Be also the one that championing, be the catalyst of CE. Educate them, educate using social media or whoever that you meet, how to relate CE to their industries and how it will actually benefit the company. And you are exposed to all these grants, opportunities. So tell them, your future employees, that if they're doing this, they have the opportunity to get this grant. If they change the way they design more to sustainability or CE, so it will also encourage them to change, because 2023 we know that so many economy experts out there, so-called expert also, that say that the recessions, all this what will hit our economy. But again, when you talk in the local sector, of course it's hard for you to sell your product or design, but it may required by a company in Scandinavian countries maybe, because these are the country that really into sustainability. So explore and educate, continue educate. make yourself as a catalyst to sustainability. A catalyst for change. So in that way, probably they made aware. So if we have 50 of you today and start to talk about the same topic, same theme, somehow it will arrive to all this assessment, especially in the LinkedIn or other social media. So it's not about they are not doing it because they are not made aware how important applying this to their organization.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, beside that, I'll inform you that actually a lot of company doing the circular economy product. Okay, when we doing our consultation, we talk about last year more than 60 companies. Most of them actually implement the ESG, environmental, social, and governance, because one of the regulation to receive the grant from government is about the sustainable product. Okay, how you process, and even your clinical waste. We must the company must follow all the regulation. Actually, maybe as Mr. Anja said that in terms of campaign, okay, the public actually don't know which company actually implement the ESG for circular economy. Actually, a lot of outside there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Puan Anja has just said that if there's a gap between the questions, she would like to ask us some questions. Yes. Is that someone in the back? Yes.
Okay, hello, my name is Aina Binti Akmal. I'm a third year student from the course Industrial Design, so I have a question. Will moving towards a circular economy require changes in consumer behavior, and are those happening? Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Sorry, the last one, are those happening?
Yeah, circular economy require changes in consumer behavior.
Okay, I like that question because in 2014-2015, Nielsen does this survey to young global consumer, where 66% believe that they should support those products that have a sustainability element as well as supporting CE or ESG. And these are the persona is they are below 40s. Imagine they are the young global consumer, and that they willing to pay more for a company that make a change that support sustainability. So they are ready actually, because this survey was done in 2014-2015 by Nielsen, and I guess that is also why you've seen there's many young people being appointed as for the C's level, and that kind of thinking, they will also look for someone we have a similar thinking. So you be prepared to work with this kind of leaders that really look forward to have you on board that can provide change to their organization.
I see. It's a very interesting, it's a very eye-opening point lah. So I've been given a question by our technical team from our FB Live directed to Encik Ismail. Encik Ismail, dalam circular economy, adakah ia boleh meningkatkan struktur ekonomi negara dari segi pembangunan ekonomi?
Of course, memang boleh lah dalam circular economy, dan kita kena melihat bila untuk bangunkan circular economy bukan hanya berpandukan kepada industri sahaja sebenarnya. Dia ada yang seperti cakap tadi, nombor satu kalau kita tengok government, Ministry of International Trade, dia tengok kepada number one is your talent dulu. Talent is number one, because technology everything you can get from anywhere. Last yang bila kita discuss dengan or the ministry, number one is talent development. As Mr. Anja said, the talent, you must know everything about the business actually. Number one is talent, okay. Number two is your punya mindset about the entrepreneurship program, and number three is about how you face the challenge outside there. So when macam yang tadi cakap lah, of course lah kalau sekolah ekonomi tu mana kita akan fokus situ. And for your information also, sekarang ni kalau sekolah ekonomi actually dah lama dah. The go for ESG sekarang memang terlalu banyak sangat grant kat luar sana. Okey, tetapi macam Puan Jah cakap, ramai yang tidak dapat grant bukan sebab produk, tetapi dari segi dia how they manage dia punya company. Dia tidak ada permanent staff, dia tidak ada business model yang baik, dia tidak ada financial management yang bagus. That's why dia tak lulus grant, bukan sebab tidak ada produk. This is one, because I involved dengan that one yang tak dapat tu sebab macam dia cakap, you ada company tapi tak ada staff. Even dia tanya sampai KWSP, ada tak KWSP nak bayar? No, tak ada. Dia tak boleh, tak ada KWSP. Kalau staff tak ada permanent, dia tak akan bagi you grant, because grant bukan sikit, 1 million. Dan kalau you punya produk jadi tak jadi, itu bukan isu kepada government. Dia tengok proses. Actually grant yang diberi bukan untuk produk saja, dia nak tengok supaya you punya company sustain. Itu nombor satu. Because you punya company sustain, government akan bagi grant. Dan even bila kita consult company yang dengan MIDA pun sama, why government tak boleh bagi grant pada entrepreneur, kepada yang enterprise, because diorang tidak ada maklumat detail tentang dia punya financial management semua. That's why kadang kita nak bagi grant, kita pastikan kepada sendirian berhad lah. Sendirian berhad ni mudah sikit dapat, because dia punya management dalam di industri, dalam company tu sangat baik kat situ. Bukan sebab produk, tapi how you manage you punya company sebenarnya. Itu yang government nak tengok. Okay, thank you.
In a type of conclusion, in a way, the government naklah tolong sebenarnya.
Sampai saya pernah balik kita bantu SME Bank, kita dah consult SME Bank daripada 2012, macam saya sendiri punya account. Sampai saya sendiri di offer oleh untuk SME Bank, Ismail, you buat set company. Cakap I tak boleh, sebab I bekerja, I dipinjamkan kepada kerajaan untuk bantu industri. Tapi tolonglah cari mana-mana entrepreneur yang boleh kita bantu bagi grant. Sampai you tahu tak, ada grant tak habis pun ada. Last experience sekarang boleh experience. Last 2 months I bawa seorang designers pergi dekat Mostia untuk dapat grant. Dia punya market memang dahsyat lah, memang kat Itali market dia. So dia tak dapat because dia stop, because dia tidak ada dia punya financial management punya yang record tu. Even tak ada staff yang permanent nak manage dia punya, tak boleh. Governance issue saja. Produk bagus, that's why dia stop, dia tak berani. Dan isu-isu tu memang kalau tengok bilion, kadang-kadang grant pun tak habis. Ya, bukan apa, sebab macam Panjang cakap lah, because you kena berani lah. That's why saya nak buat juga company, tapi kalau saya buat, saya kena dengan SPRM lah sebab saya that's why I buat juga business. I buat gig economy. Gig economy means I buat ada short contract dengan company luar, I buat project untuk orang. Itu I buat sampai sekarang, tapi I tak ada company. We call it gig economy. You all boleh buat sekarang, student practice by that. Okay, thank you.
Mungkin I would like to add from Tuan Ismail punya sharing. Berapa ramai pakai iPhone kat sini? How many? 10%, 20%, 80%
more
yang
than
pakai
50,
iPhone. Kalau ini dalam dewan ya, belum cakap dalam, I mean the whole faculty itself from year 1 sampai final year. Do you know the one that design iPhone punya packaging, iPad punya packaging since 2013 siapa? Seorang mamat ni, orang Selayang aja. So dia dah jadi gig worker, dia dah design for, not for Apple, a company appointed by Apple, dan a company tu appoint another company and baru appoint dia. So bayangkan ya, a Malay guy dia design, dia ni for me I kira dia unsung hero lah. Maybe one day kalau nak ni Asya boleh perkenalkan dengan dia, nama dia Amy, that he actually design Apple punya packaging. Bayangkan ya, orang Selayang aja.
Wah, menarik. Okay. So I've been told we have just a little bit of time left, so I think we'll take 2 questions. One more from the crowd, and Puan Anja, you have a question for us, yes? All right.
So we'll save questions.
Yeah, we'll save that for last first. Okay. Do we have one more question from the crowd? There she is. Okay, I see one over there.
Hello, I'm Vinodini, final year student of industrial design. My question is, could the digital technology help scale the circular economy?
Yes. Kalau you tengok salah satu isu digital technology, actually itu utama untuk ada buat satu, kita buat satu projek hari tu Sekejap. Memang kita go for digital economy. Okay. Sekejap ya tu sorry. About this is project by ourselves lah, kita cerita tentang digital economy, digital tu semua. The one is very important for database actually, and terutamanya untuk yang sekarang berlaku ada untuk plastic material for database, waste material untuk plastik, digital tu. That one the rest actually memang kalau you tengok pun sekarang even government pun memang galakkan untuk database very important to ensure all the R&D dekat Malaysia ni dia betul-betul inline dengan apa yang government nak, dengan industri nak. So memang kita tengok sangat penting. Memang kalau you tengok pun sekarang banyak inisiatif daripada government to provide a special grant for digital economy punya tu. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, saya diberi lagi satu soalan daripada live stream kita, daripada Herma Zulaika Hashim. What is an example of a business model that can be used as a benchmark? Does it require a certain level of technology readiness? TRL.
Okay, there are many companies that championing on sustainability. From the context of as a social entrepreneur, I would like to maybe highlight those social enterprises out there that really work into this. For example, you can Google Suri Lifestyle, where they actually do the upcycling old denim, but not just design, but learn how she managed to work with big giant company like Levi's, like Uniqlo. Uniqlo not only in Malaysia, Uniqlo Japan, Korea, now going towards to Uniqlo in Canada and not US. So learn how she managed such a from SMEs where they aim to give second chance to struggling mothers to now export their product to all these countries. Suri Lifestyle. Also we have BGBG, BGBG.com, another social enterprise that also into circular economy, upscaling, upcycle. So what else? Actually a lot. Tapi yes, these are among not only they do good, but they also not only do good in designing good products and to tackle such customer segment, but they also do good to their community, which is their beneficiaries.
Okay, thank you, Puan Anja. For Herma Zulaika, I hope that answers your question from online. Okay, so I think we'll move on to our final question. Puan Anja, you have a question for us.
Okay.
Yes.
I have one question. Just suddenly, tiba-tiba terfikir. Okay, like most of you are final year students, and take this opportunity to be visible, maybe to your future colleague or future employer. So if you are bold enough or brave enough to come and share with us who is your dream company that you want to work with and why they should choose you. So just very simple, because this is how I actually gain all these my corporate clients, because I always be visible. So take this opportunity, take this challenge, answer your name, in what year, and what is your dream client or dream company that you want to work with, and why they should choose you. Maybe if the company family, I can just probably recommend through my network. Anyone, any takers?
This is a great chance, guys. Does anyone want to give a try?
There's no right or wrong. Can
Abang
just share.
MPP di belakang.
Show why you are hungry enough. You want this company to hire you. What you can contribute to them.
My name is Praveen Rao Analaki Santiran. I am a final year student in industrial design. To answer Pananja's question, basically the company I actually want to work with is this pipe dream, but is Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco is a Japanese company. So what the company does is they make plastic models using an injection molding process. So the reason why I want to work with them is because the reason I initially come into industrial design is because of my fascination with their products. So it all started with being a hobby of mine, building their plastic models. But then one day I decided that this is what I want to do in life. Basically, I wanted to make this my career. So other than working with them, I actually want to also start Malaysia's first toy company that is in injection molding with plastic models. So I want to start that company as well. So why I can work with Bandai Namco is because throughout my 4 years studying in UPM, every single time we get a project for our class or whatever, I always try to incorporate what I would do for that company in my projects as well. So I think I actually can work with them because I am already familiar with what the company does and what they actually what's their goal in itself. Because even now, my final year project is mostly inspired by what they do, which is basically toys, and even my final year project is based on making toys for school children. So yeah, that's why I think I want to work with Bandai Namco. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Praveen. Let's work on it. Let's see how I can help connect you with your dream client, inshallah. So there goes for a brave person.
That's one. Is there anyone else that would like to share? No? I guess I'll take a swing myself lah. Personally for me, quite honestly, after this I'm not sure where I'm going. So I guess it's just like me sharing my thoughts on industrial design in general. I'm not quite sure where I'm going, but inshallah, yeah, I hope to find something that is related to furniture design or something like that. I'm not so sure, as I said, I'm not so sure where I want to go afterwards, but hopefully it's a field that I really want to explore going forward.
Okay, at least you know you are into furniture design. Some of you may not know what you want because you never think of it, but easiest is to know what you like. If you like food, do something that you related to food. If you like to in fashion, do something that related to fashion. But back to you, for in furniture, you need to just maybe think more about if it's a furniture, but who it will be the segment, the two segment here. One is the user, the end user. One is the buyer, the customer. So it can be baby furniture. The one that use it is for baby, but the one that purchase is the parent or mothers or someone want to give as a present. So you think the customer as the buyer, the one who pay you, but think also about the baby that will use the furniture, on the safety, on the comfort level, and in what ways it help reduce the waste, for example. So a lot of things. If it's for elderly person, so again, who are the customer, who are the user. So you need to match these two in order to make your whatever product that you design works.
Okay, thank you. I'll take your advice to heart, Puan Anja. Okay. So that concludes our forum for today. Thank you again, Puan Anja and Encik Ismail, for coming to our forum, our Industrial Design Forum 2023. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So without further ado, I think I'll pass it back to our MC for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatin. You've done a great job on moderating the forum. Now, as a symbol of memento from the students, I would like to invite our beloved lecturer, Professor Khairul Aidil, to present a token of our sincere appreciation to our first panelist, Madam Anja Julia Abu Bakar. Next, we present a token of appreciation to our second professional panelist, Mr. Ismail Rosti. Last but not least, a token of appreciation to the moderator herself, Ms. Fatin Faisal. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give another round of applause to them. With our event today nearing to an end, we would like to give our sincere gratitude to everyone in this very hall today and the ones watching through the live stream for joining us and making this day a memorable one. Again, we would like to give our thanks to the Department of Design of the Faculty of Design and Architecture, UPM, Darn Lukis and Laser UK Studio for being our sponsorship partners for today's event. But before you go, let us stay and sing together the faculty anthem. Please rise.
Di dataran sana tersebar indah lambang kita, warna-warni bunga berkembang, kehijauan mendamaikan jiwa. Inilah fakulti yang tercinta, mendidik bangsa indahkan dunia, kemesraan sesama warga ceria, gaya hidup mereka bentuk seni bina. Pimpinan yang berwawasan, kami teruskan perjuangan demi masa depan yang gemilang, membina bangsa negara tersayang. Inilah fakulti yang tercinta, mendidik bangsa indahkan dunia, kemesraan sesama warga ceria, gaya hidup mereka bentuk seni bina. Dengan pimpinan yang berwawasan, kami teruskan perjuangan demi masa depan yang gemilang, membina bangsa negara tersayang. Demi masa depan yang gemilang, membina negara tersayang.
Thank you all. Please be seated. Now we present to you the credit video followed by the montage video. Before we end our event for today, I would like to invite our VIP guests to the front for a photography session with the committees of this forum.
Jom gambar tengah ke tengah ke tengah. Jom ke tengah.